around the circle of stagnation in your life. Because you can either keep growing or you can stagnate by arguing, yelling, choosing the wrong things. I think it's really great to hear stories of what other people have been challenged by because it inspires you. I think that's really important, but I also think it's equally important to do something with that inspiration. Know that visualizing, even athletes use visualization, a creative way of saying to yourself, I'm going to imagine myself in that situation and feel it. And confidence, I believe, in our world is actually at an authentic low.
Hi everyone, I'm Camilo Torres, and welcome again to Flow Community Podcast. In here, we're going to have amazing conversations with the beautiful people that has joined our community. We're going to get a lot of inspiration from their life journeys, passions, creations, because we believe that when you share your unique story, you can inspire others. So please enjoy this new episode, and also I would love to invite you to join our community. And if you would like to be part of this podcast, please go to our website, flowwithcommunity.com. Thank you. So please welcome Dr. Graziella Thake. Hi, Graziella.
Hello, it's so nice to be with you today. I'm so excited about what you do at Flow. So I'm looking forward to the interview and I'm looking forward to some of the great things you're going to achieve.
Thank you. And thank you so much for being part of the community. And thank you so much for your time to be here. And I mean, looking at your career and what you have done, it's very inspirational for me and also for the world. And I think, yeah, you're doing even greater things for us, for everyone. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, so to start, I just would like to, well, go with that. I mean, you are the CEO of the Optimization Hub, which is a really lovely project. But I would like to know, and if you would like to share your journey of how it takes you to be there, and yeah, what inspired you to be there.
Okay, well, Camilo, there's so much. It's so nice to have met you, and it's just with great warmth. I mean, I met you at a premiere, and I think since I first met you, I was like, wow, what this personality and the things that you do. So my name is Dr. Graziella Thake. I was born in Mumbai, India. I'm the child of two diplomats. I'm Maltese Italian. I'm currently 54 years old, 54 years young, I believe. It's like saying that brown is the new black.
Agreed. I think
So
age is no number. Age is in our mind and our spirit. That's it.
it's a mentality, but I think that also we're living in a world that is more and more about close locality. And we're living in an era where, no matter the age, the stage, the gender, the career, we're really, one people. And so I guess I look back at my history in lots of fortunate ways. I was brought up in 13 different countries. I had parents who migrated to Australia and who fell in love. My father fell in love with Australia. In fact, when we buried him in his Gucci suit with an Australian tracksuit tucked under his arm.
Oh,
Um, he decided to leave working for IATA and working for the Italian Chamber when he came to Australia because he just fell in love with this beautiful country. I went on to live in the Pacific, to live in the US, traveled back to Europe. I was able to see many, many things. When I was a young girl, I didn't really like my name, which was very difficult for lots of people in different countries to say. Graziella, you say it so well. And one of the greatest things for me was because of the gift of travel. And when I was 3, my father taking me to the slums and saying, hey, you live here, but you're responsible for this. My viewpoint on the world is that we belong to one world, one people. So my father and mother met with their dedication and work with Mother Teresa. So they both love philanthropy and giving back. And so I think the important part of where I sit now is that my career is a tapestry of having modeled when I was younger. When I was studying forensics, I started volunteering at 14 years old. I knew what I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be of service in the world. I knew I wanted to give back. I didn't struggle with my passion to give back, but I didn't know where to channel it. So I guess for me, it was the volunteering was a way, is it going to be in crisis intervention? Was it going to be in critical care? Was it going to be in medicine? Where was I going to be? And while I was volunteering, I got picked up to, as I said, do some modeling work. And then I went on to manage a modeling agency and to work in running the school and putting the school together. And I think one of the really interesting things for me in my history was that I always said yes. I always said, yep, I'll give that a go. And often when I speak, I spoke in 26 different countries over the last 2 years, I talk about giving everything a go. I want to inspire people to never be limited by their circumstance, by the things that they think define them. So I went on into forensics. I was one of the youngest women to go into forensics and working in a maximum security jail. And I worked across a number of years, in maximum security and minimum security, went back up to maximum security. There are lots of stories there that I could go into, some of them really fascinating, some of them that carved my future. And then graduating, out of being a student into actually going into a system like that, you had to be well prepared. And I was really fortunate to be surrounded by lots of really fantastic people. But I was one of the youngest women that had gone in. So there are many things that propelled where I went to next. When I left forensics, I left with cancer. I self-cured of cancer and had 2 healthy babies. I went back and studied Ayurvedic science. I was snapped up to work in multinationals. I did global mergers and acquisitions. I worked with, both the Big Four and the Microsofts in leadership development, and devised a curriculum. The journey goes on, and I won't bore you with how many stories, but I've had several books written about me. I've contributed to books. I've done a couple of world firsts. I've spoken, in some incredible environments. I've been running across borders because of trafficking rings that we try to break. I've, worked with uniform populations, and the Optimization Hub, which I'm grateful to be leading beside some of the most wonderful people in the world, is a tapestry of this journey. It's, a way to serve many communities, and typically 4 vertical markets that we serve. One is education, of course. The other is sport, where we have a world first curriculum in mental health and sport. Another is professional services populations, where we have a really simple product there for leadership and resilience development, and another one for resilience at work and in relationships. And then we have a women's only product. We specialize in mental agility products. Those things you don't want to learn about until you know you need them. And it's about productivity, resilience, and leadership packaged into something that's affordable and accessible in the palm of your hand on apps. Why? Because the number one problem in the world is your mind, your mental health, your physical capacity, your confidence, your power, your ability to get into any situation and win through it, and to take charge of your future and to ensure that you have your best self in every day for the price of a dinner out. And so we're quite quickly and rapidly snapped up as a product. I have, as I said, an incredible team, and I'll stop there because I could bore you by going on for a long time.
No, you're not boring me at all. Wow, like, oh my God, like, thank you so much for being here. You're such inspiration, and you have lots to, well, we can do like a series of podcasts together to talk about your life. Wow, thank you so much. I'm sure that's a very quick summary of your life and very inspiring. And I love what you said about like mental health. And then working in our mental health is important, and having a product that will develop that is important. I mean, do you think that we all should be working on our mental health? Because I feel like from my experience before, when I was my old version of me thought, oh, I'm fine, mental health, it's okay, I'm all good. Now, this new version is like, hey, no, I wasn't fine, and now I'm still like, it's a workout, right? It's like your body needs a workout to just keep going and keep fit or healthy. your mental health needs the same. So how do you think, how important is that for all of us to work on that?
100% important. Like, how important is it? Mental health is super important. So I've even got a little kind of video I can send you on it. Like, we've got so many great interviews. I think, Camilo, you said it, we talk about what we do is working on the mental muscle. So you'll go to the gym and you develop your resilience. You'll develop your body. You'll know how the muscles change shape. You can't see your brain though. You can't see it, but you can see through it. So if you really give it a good workout and you strengthen it and you build its resilience and its elasticity, it is going to be clear. It's going to be like you can breathe through your brain. If you haven't stretched it for a while, if you haven't planned and prepared for things, if you haven't given it some exercise, it's going to feel numb and like a brick wall every time you go out and you face a new challenge. So what we do is conditioning for the mind. We condition the mind, we strengthen it, we get it, its nutrition, its balance right, because its chemistry is really fine. And we help the brain have new sets of glasses every day. Because perception is the thing that you look at everything through. If you haven't changed the schematic representations in your brain, the pictures in your brain, if you have got a few stuck together that get you confused about what to see in a situation, if you can't see through all those pictures to your intuition, you have a problem with how you might approach things. You might find yourself reacting and not responding to situations. And so what we do in some very short, quick, sharp tools and techniques is help you to condition. And to be honest, every client, like literally hundreds of thousands of clients, are saying, I wish I had this when I was 15. I wish I had this when I was 16. I wish I'd known this. Because if you count back all of the poor decisions you make, all of the times you react, all of the times you drive yourself into a wall and you think, I'm here again, I need to backpedal, or I need to get through this, or you do all the things that are things that are reactions that have you around the circle of stagnation in your life. Because you can either keep growing or you can stagnate by arguing, yelling, choosing the wrong things, going down and down and down and down. And then you just keep going, I don't like this. And it gets worse and tighter and tighter and tighter until you either explode or you spend years in therapy, or you're in a situation that you don't want to be in and you've lost things or people that you don't want to lose. Why do that? Why not, for the price of, 2 meals out, go and do a course that's 9 hours long that you can do over 6 weeks, or do an app that's, 15 minutes a day and change your life forever?
Wow.
I, I,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even hesitate.
100%. And I am in that journey. And for me, and can share a little bit, like one of the biggest bad episodes of situations of my life, not bad situations of my life, was losing my dad. But that was the situation that made me realize that my mental health wasn't right. Of course, I helped even go lower. And then from that point, I decided to, no, wait, I need to start working on this. Otherwise, I will go to a really bad path, or maybe in a really dark path, that losing myself in yeah. So 100%. And one of the things, and then I don't know, I would like to take your opinion. What do you think about sharing, being inspired by others that is been in that journey? Do you think that helps with the mental health? Like listening at stories of people that been through situations, how important is for that? Like,
I think in an increasingly, I suppose, world where we are digitally connected, it's really important to hear stories, but I think it's really important by it as well. I'm of two minds. I think it's really great to hear stories of what other people have been challenged by, because it inspires you. I think that's really important, but I also think it's equally important to do something with that inspiration. Because if you just get inspired and you don't do anything with it, and a community is important. I think a community is really important, but it's what you do in that community. So, when you've got people who connect in the community and then you say together, oh, we're going to go because we've shared an idea. We're going to go learn something together so we can go build a home of learning, or we're going to go and build something together based on what we've learned. We're going to go study, and then the community gets better and better and better, and people don't keep making the same mistakes because you're learning as you're going. I think that's important. I think sharing is really important. But I think doing something with what you learn is equally important. And I think moving past blame is important. So, I think there are some basic rules. The day that you learn not to blame anything else, the day that you say to yourself, I'm ready to make a change and own the change. And the day that I, also keep learning, and the day that I stay private with that learning, because sometimes when you share it too wide, you start to doubt yourself. The day that I stop overthinking, the day that I start looking up and out and not looking down and back, there is always a defining day. And whatever that defining day is, if you're getting it from being inspired, that's your defining day. But what you do with that day is so important.
Wow. Yes, agree. 100% agree. I think you completely agree. I think I was going to, like, the question that I was going to ask you is about how important was community, but you already answered it. A community, to build a community surround, like, around you, and to help you through that situation is very important. And the other thing is, yeah, do something, act about that. Yeah, I mean, inspiration is very important, community support is very important, but also acting about it is very important as well. But then with that, okay, and I want to relate that. How do you think that creativity will help as an act to with your mental health?
I think that people who don't think they're creative, probably need to think again, because your body's like a great big piece of chemistry. So I think creativity does kind of help. You'll see behind me, like, there's this amazing mural, which is Aboriginal mural of the earth and the sand and the stars and this. And I think one of the things is that creativity is how we build or engineer or define or grow something. And I think the other part of creativity is that we learn through what we do, or what we imagine. That's what we build. So engineers are creative minds. We're all engineers of our lives. And so creativity is about imagining the world the way it could be, and sometimes past the way it is. We've all had those times where it doesn't feel great, and we know that visualizing, even athletes use visualization, a creative way of saying to yourself, I'm going to imagine myself in that situation and feel it. So creativity is not just a sense of I'm wanting, it's more a sense of transporting yourself somewhere else. So yeah, I think creativity is very, very important, and the art of creativity refreshes you. So it might be external, it might be painting, it might be as simple as going outside and breathing deeply and feeling what it would feel like to be doing something else, be somewhere else for a moment. It might be shutting your eyes and opening them again and saying, I want to see this in much better light. It might be looking at something or someone that you don't normally like, to look at them with, what's the most wonderful thing I could see about them right now. And you're bending the lens, and creativity teaches you to bend the lens, teaches you something new. It teaches you to see the best in people. And I think and circumstances, and look up at the sky and go, wow, how did all that happen? And I think that, we're so careful and cautious about so many things that sometimes creativity is about just being and appreciating everything around you. And then you do something that interacts with that world around you that you are building. You're creating every moment. Your mind, yourself, your breathing, whatever your limitation of circumstance, you are being creative because you are creating the next moment. And nobody has got that paintbrush except for you. So you create your moments. Nobody else. Never give that paintbrush away. Some of the people that we have worked with and I've worked with over the years have been in the most tragic situations and circumstances. I'm sure that every person that listens to Flow Community, who's been around it, anybody who's in touch with a podcast, who's looking for something, has touched a moment that they've said, I need to imagine myself past this. I need to feel myself past this. They are picking up their own paintbrush and trying to draw their story. And the whole emphasis in NLP and in so many other forms of psychology, and I can tell you there's so many beautiful contexts of psych, but if you really look at it and you say to yourself, the greatest psychologist is you. And if you can't think straight and you're overthinking things, just pick up that creative moment and take the next step and take the step after that and just believe. And as long as you are harming no one and not harming yourself, and you are taking those steps to what can one creative thing lead to another. And if you need someone to help you with those steps, then seek someone out. But creativity is super important, and every person is creating their moments.
100%. And wow, I couldn't add anything else. Like you did. Wow. I think you inspire me. I think that you add more about my knowledge, like what I had in mind about creativity. And it's that. And yeah, 100%. That's why in Flow, like we invite everyone. Like it's so inclusive. Like the Flow community is a inclusive a community because we believe that everyone, like as you said, everyone is creative. And it's not just because sometimes people say, hey, no, I'm not creative because I'm not in the creative industries, which is very different. No, you're creative when you wake up and what you say, like cooking or solving a problem. And that's why everyone's stories matters here at Flow. And it's important to share them, inspire them, and do that maybe the first thing, and then maybe combines you with well, because there is a lot of organizations that can even, okay, if they have an inspiration, then what is next? And then the next thing is to work out on their journey. 100%.
I really think, we can all have really great elevator speeches. Like, I think authenticity is in a really important place in creativity, because we get trained so much by every environment. And trust me, I could get up and I could give an elevator speech and I do this, this, and this. But I think the key elements that you need to have in creativity is in the moment being really authentic. And I think, that comes from something we chatted about the other day, like control. The whole emphasis of so many elements in our lives can be controlled, or we can feel that we are out of control because something else feels like it has power over us. Take a deep breath and be creative about, okay, I'm letting my brain play tricks on me because I have the power to be creative in this moment and to say to myself, I'm in charge of my mind. I mean, it's the first thing you can teach a child who feels that someone's bullying them is you've got the power in that moment to be creative, to say, I'm not going to see it as being bullied. I'm going to see it as me taking my power back and standing up and saying, I'm not agreeing and I'm not letting this happen. And I'm going to move past that, depending on the safety and the circumstance. It's about not giving your power away. It's about saying, and not everyone's going to agree, and not everybody respects the authority that you have. But the emphasis has to be that you create your moments, that you create every moment. And if you're feeling unsure of yourself and you need the tools to do that, that's where you come to a community to learn some things.
Wow, 100%. And I want to add an personal experience, what you said. And anyway, there's two things. Like, I wish, anyway, no, I don't wish. I'm like that, and that's it. So kids needs to be teach that. And by then, anyway, when I was a kid, I wasn't being teach to be authentic and then take the situation in my favor. No, no, in the negative way. And I want to share that here in London, I was crossing a group of men. And anyway, I was like crossing path, and then they said to me in a funny way, Queen. And then you know what? I went there, and then I stand up and say, yes, I am a queen. And then I walk in. I continue walking in a really like positive, and they gave me energy from the from the from their voice and their everything. Maybe they were having a joke, or maybe no, I don't care. But that's when I took the situation of maybe it was negative, maybe I could be, oh my God, what they say, that how do I dress, blah blah, or say like, hey, let's take it, and why no, you know, like those little things, and look at the situations in another with another eyes, with a really magic eyes and positive eyes, change it completely. Yeah. So I wanted to share that. Well, I have a lot of personal experience about that.
Yeah, I totally believe in that. The thing that you said is so important. It's being able to turn the narrative around in a second. And I so respect that. So when you can't turn the narrative around, when you can't say no to a situation, when you're totally under the thumb, when you're always kind of like reacting, or you're always doing things that you think you have to do to save face, then you're becoming something that doesn't control your life. If you instead take control and you say, yeah, you know what, it's mine, and I'm going to be that person, and that means respect of yourself and everyone else. Self-respect comes from not always doing the things you want to do, but it comes from doing the things that you know are right. So when a person has self-respect, people who lack respect in themselves will sometimes do things they think they have to do to please their peers or to please someone else. But in a situation of self-respect, you're saying, you know what, I am, but I'm doing it my way. And you're owning it, and you're feeling strong. And in that moment, it can be a challenge depending on the time that something happens. Like, you might not be feeling that great, so you might not turn it around that way. But you've got to be prepared for whatever life throws at you. And that's what resilience is about. That's what the learning that we do is all about. So that anytime you're in any situation, you're like an elastic band. You're never going to get caught out. And I think, just imagine that, you're never caught out reacting. You're actually prepared for anything. That to me is priceless. But I also think it's priceless to know that you are strong even before the situation. So
Yeah.
bring it on. Like, here I am. Let's do life, you know? And that's magic. And I love listening to what you just did, because that to me is what it's all about. It's in that moment, you saw it, you looked at it, you went, hey, that's interesting, I agree, and then you moved on.
Agree. I don't know. Yes, yeah, I agree. And that's a little thing, and it's important to share it, because some people get in another situation or gets aggressive, or anyway. And then about what you said about self-respect, I am completely agree. I think that goes with self-love, and I've been in a journey of self-love the last 3 years or less. Well, yeah, very recently, which when you really start that journey, because I feel like that journey never ends. It's then it builds your self-confidence, your self-respect, and within those situations, then you see it in another way, and the why you need to let those things affect you, and then you start in respecting those situations. and seeing with another eyes, and also respecting people around you, and being able to see them with other eyes. So yeah, self-love and self-respect is very important. I agree.
I think, Camilo, it oozes from the stories we shared and the talk about the inspiration that you have and what you do. And it's really absent in our youth populations. It's really absent in so many different populations that we see out there. And even in our professional services populations, we're seeing people many, many times who are not confident to be able to be in a situation and say, this is how I feel. That made me uncomfortable. I don't agree, but I could maybe suggest we do it like this. And that comes from feeling confident. And confidence, I believe, in our world is actually at an authentic low. Because it's not mistaking aggression for confidence. It's not mistaking taking power or fear for confidence. Confidence is you do you, I do me, we go along with each other, and we just constantly creating something really great that we're doing, and we're just super enthusiastic and super interested. And in that place, I'm not afraid you're going to take something from me, and you're not afraid I'm going to take something from you. We're just enjoying that we're doing something for something far greater. And this is where, you look at the global leaders and the powers that we have. Can we really see that at the moment? Can we really see great leadership that is determined by succession planning and thinking about where we're going to be in 10 years, not just because the UN SDGs, not because certain mandates are in place, but because we really are inspired and we care. And I think as populations, we need to be teaching this in our education system. Hence, we have these great tools and programs that just sit in the palm of your hand and help kids get their confidence, get their feelings of connection, and be able to deal with tough situations or easy situations by having a well-conditioned mind.
Wow, I agree. Totally agree. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much for those amazing words. All right, I have few questions, three questions. They're very short answered. You can answer with one word or with a short sentence. But then one of them you already answered, but then anyway, let's re-answer it again. What is creativity for you?
Creativity for me is the power to be able to feel the air between my ears, and to be inspired by everything around me, and to feel accepted for the ideas and the responses I have, and to freely make connections and have concepts, whether they're engineering or thoughts about science or reality. But creativity is many, many things to me. It's the power to allow myself to come up with an idea that I can also become very enthusiastic about and take apart and make happen.
Love it. Wow, thank you. Yes, agreed. What is your current creative expression?
My current creative expression is many things. The thing I favor the most is taking walks in the hills or in nature or on beaches. I'm in a people intense environment. As a leader, I have to connect with sometimes over 100 people in a day in different ways, whether it's by email, seeing people in meetings, going on to Teams, having team meetings, through connectivity on WhatsApp. I will get through at least 100 people a day. So where I become my best creative self and what I draw from in creativity is nature and environments where there are less people and there's more expanse. So I can connect. I mean, I loved the Avatar series because I loved the visual lighting to connect with everything around me. The very much the UN SDGs are everything we embody in the characteristics of the optimization hub. So to me, creativity and its expression is about connecting to everything around me. When I was younger, I used to paint and draw. I write. I'm a writer as well. but I'm also dyslexic, so I keep Richard Branson great company. I'm very dyslexic, and when I'm tired or I'm pressed, it's at its worst. So I love to write, and I love all the great new tools that are out that help me. So a few degrees later, I'm now going, oh, this is a little bit easier. But I just really believe nature is my creativity. It's my creative bucket.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. And also, just to add, I am a little bit dyslexic as well. And anyway, and thankfully, technology is helping us to let us express ourselves even better. So yeah, that's on point. And to end, what flow means for you? Flow as the word, no, as my project.
Well, the reason I loved your product is because I love the word flow.
Okay.
So flow to me is what I'm doing with you. Flow is we're reading each other, we're going along. It's like a couple of boats bobbing on the ocean, having a conversation that's just naturally taking place. Flow is when I don't have a block, when I don't feel I'm talking to someone that is trying to impose their view on me or tell me what to think or engineer, because I'm really intuitive and I can feel when people, and I say, hey, I'm feeling a little bit manipulated by that there. I just need to be in flow. And that's you do you, I do me. We kind of go along like this. And occasionally in business situations, people will try to engineer what they want from you. Or if you're incredibly popular and you've got lots of people around you, people want what you have and they try to. So I think that flow has no fear. Flow is like the ocean and the boats that just bob along it. And flow can also be big seas. You can still flow in big seas, but with confidence. I think flow is like an eagle that glides as well. And flow is when all the elements work together. And so when human beings are in flow, everything just is happening and productivity is there. So flow to me is all the beautiful elements that take place. And I believe that we as human beings are guardians of flow. We need to go out there and be flow, like be that person that goes along and who's careful and respectful so that we can keep everything in balance. When we impose ourselves, when we take from others, when we take from nature, when we distrust, or when we, try to go against what people can do, because sometimes there are limitations and you have to just give them time to get into flow. If you do those things and you force it and you threaten and you do, that's when you're out of flow. That's when flow ends.
Wow. Wow, amazing. Love the definition. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Graziella. Like, it's been amazing podcast. And yeah, thank you for your time and thank you for sharing your wonderful stories. I'm sure this is not going to be the last podcast. It's the first one of many. All
I
right.
really enjoyed it. And thank you, Camilla, for having me. And thank you for doing what you do. And it's inspiring. And I hope I can bring many people to your community and your inspiration and that you achieve great things.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you. All right. Bye.